Welcome back to Paul's Tech News. Do you ever get the feeling like you knew something was coming? You prepped for it, shored yourself up mentally, and then the thing actually arrives or happens, and suddenly your brain short circuits and all that planning just dissolves into a sea of incompetence and slapstick buffoonery? That happened to me this week because, wow, after we spent the summer coasting on the tech news fumes provided by leaks and rumors, we now have plenty of fuel for our tank. It started this week with AMD's Ryzen 7000 series CPU launch, which had reviews going up Monday and retail sales kickoff on Tuesday. Then, also on Tuesday, Intel hosted their innovation event where they announced actual prices for the Arc A770 and A750 GPUs, as well as the October 12th launch date. And they'll follow that up 8 days later on October 20th with the launch of the 13th gen Core CPUs codenamed Raptor Lake with 6 K-SKU models on tap. So this means our big board is nearly complete with this week's update. All that remains to be confirmed is an actual launch date for the Radeon 7000 series, which we'll hopefully be hearing more about on November 3rd, and some of the follow-up launches like the RTX 4080 12 and 16 gig, and AMD's hopefully more affordable B650 series motherboards. It's a lot to stay on top of, kind of like your mom, but that's why I'm here to help ease these things into place, so to speak. And on the plus side, getting these products launched earlier in Q4 might mean that tech reviewers like me don't have to keep working through the holidays, and that would bring me some Christmas cheer. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself. On with the tech news.
Excellent!
Today's video is brought to you by the new FX series of cases and CPU coolers from Be Quiet, combining addressable RGB lighting with legendary build quality, top-tier performance, and near-silent operation. The Pure Base 500 FX can fit up to a 360mm all-in-one or tall air coolers while keeping things chilly thanks to airflow-optimized top and front panels. The Pure Loop 2 FX liquid cooler comes in 3 sizes and supports all modern mainstream CPUs, and the Pure Rock 2 FX air cooler can handle up to 150 watts TDP with style and ease. Be Quiet's FX series products are suitable for any build in need of a functional and tasteful RGB upgrade, so click the sponsor link in the video description for more. I'm going to start with Intel, whose innovation event on Tuesday and Wednesday held many revelations, but to clear out the headliners, Arc GPUs are coming first, the A750 and A770 launching October 12th with a few variants. There's an 8 gig and a 16 gig limited edition A770 with cards starting at $330 and bumping up to $350 for the limited edition version. For some reason, Intel didn't announce the 8 gig A750 in the keynote, but within 24 hours, it was also confirmed to be launching on the 12th, starting at $290 MSRP. XESS technology is also out in the wild now, with updates to games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider allowing the frame boosting solution to be tested even on non-Intel GPUs. Videocards.com shared some images of what appears to be the Arc GPU Reviewers Kit, claiming that there's a special gold edition that will be available in China, and also indicating that the review embargo lifts on October 5th, which would just be silly, of course. Also, that gold edition is the same physical card, it's just a different box. As for the CPUs, if you didn't catch my recap of the announcements on Tuesday, here's the list, and it's as expected. The leaks were right, but to be honest, this is the same CPU stack that they've been starting off with for a few generations now, so not too many surprises. One thing that did surprise me is how many media outlets seem to have forgotten that Intel shares tray pricing for CPUs, as in the bulk price for a lot of 1,000, so do not expect the 13900K to retail for $590. I mean, heck, the pre-sales are already up on Newegg, where the 13900K is going for $660, the 13700K is going for $450, and the 13600K is going for $330, with the non-iGPU KF models going for $20 to $30 cheaper. And just like that Arc review kit that leaked, we also have an early leak of what appears to be the Raptor Lake CPU Reviewers Kit, shamelessly posted to the internets by Case King, which includes some die shots, artwork, and 2 CPUs, the 13600K and 13900K. I'm not sure why they don't send the 13700K too, but I guess they figure that one will probably sell itself. An unexpected guest also showed up at Intel's event, this CPU wafer labeled Raptor Lake S, as befits the new 13th gen Core CPUs, but Savvy Media on hand inspected it more closely and found that those are 34-core dies, a significantly larger chip versus what is going into the likes of a 24-core 13900K. So, is this an indication that Intel will finally return to the high-end desktop market? It's anybody's guess as to whether this was an intentional move by Intel or an actual slip-up, but my money is on it being intentional. Confirmation was found on the back of the die carrier though, where a sticker with the text Raptor Lake S34 core was found. So who knows, perhaps Intel will finally be answering AMD's Threadripper offerings with something for big chip enthusiasts who don't want to pay enterprise prices. It would be great to see more competition in high-end desktops, so hopefully Intel reveals their plans for these 34-core dies soon. Speaking of Threadripper though, we have a conveniently timed leak on that front too, a database entry on the distributed computing platform Einstein at Home, which searches for signals from spinning neutron stars and data from gravitational wave detectors and large telescopes, showing a CPU with an OPN code that indicates it's based on Zen 4 with 128 processors listed, likely meaning it's a 64-core 128-thread chip. AMD of course has their EPYC Genoa and Bergamo workstation CPUs spinning up already, but several details in the database entry seem to point towards this being the first Ryzen Threadripper 7000 series CPU codenamed Storm Peak, which will also feature Zen 4 architecture and be built on TSMC's 5nm process. Will 2023 be the year that competition returns to the high-end desktop market? I can't say for sure, but I highly recommend it. Of course, the presence of high-end desktop PCs implies the existence of low-end desktop PCs, which is not at all how AMD or Intel want us to describe their mainstream platforms, but I just did, so the damage has been done. AMD's new mainstream ride is AM5, and it launched on Tuesday amidst much fanfare and many reviews. And the consensus seems to be, for productivity, these things are beasts, especially the flagship 7950X. For gaming though, they are faster than the 5000 series and Intel 12th gen, but can still be outpaced in some tests by the 12900K or AMD's homegrown party spoiler, the 5800X 3D. Pricing is also a concern for value-minded PC users due to platform upgrade requirements that necessitate a DDR5 memory kit and a pricey X670 or X670E motherboard, which start in the $250 to $300 range at the cheapest. This really pushes out the 7600X, so for now it seems that the 7700X is the recommendation in this stack for early adopters who are focusing on gaming. But there's also hesitation due to still unreleased products. Intel 13th gen CPU performance is still a mystery for 2 to 3 more weeks, and the less expensive B650 and B650E motherboards aren't out yet, which could offer much better price to performance options. For more benchmark results, I recommend my 7600X or 7950X launch reviews, or try the TechSpot article in the description for Steve's excellent benchmarks that include all 4 new CPUs. Speaking of B650 though, the leaks for those motherboards have begun too, with retail sales expected to go live sometime in early October. Several Gigabyte models were linked on the BenchLife forums, including the B650E Aorus Master, the B650 Aorus Elite AX, the Micro ATX B650M Aorus Elite AX, the silvery B650 Aero G, and the Mini ITX B650i Aorus Ultra. Video cards also got their hands on motherboard picks in this lineup from MSI and Asrock, and while it's too early to judge without stat sheets so we can see exactly how these boards are configured, I'm optimistic that we will find the golden entry, a B650 or B650E board with all the features we need, a dusting of PCIe Gen 5 support, and a nice bit of connectivity added to the feature set as well, for around $150 to maybe $200 max. I truly hope that that board exists. It's evident that motherboard vendors are a bit stressed out right now too though, with a new platform and multiple new chipset lineups happening on the AMD and the Intel side at the same time, so you'll forgive them if they are a bit discombobulated. Asrock managed to forget which side was which, listing their Intel-based Z790 Taichi with branding on the corner for AMD's B650E chipset, which made it all the way to the Newegg product page listing. It does appear to have been corrected now though, so I guess we won't be seeing a magical crossover board that supports both Raptor Lake and Zen 4 CPUs. Asrock would also like to correct the fact that their first run of X670 boards had a sticker placed over the memory slots to indicate which slots to populate and to warn about potentially lengthy first boot times, a known issue on this new platform. But they cheaped out on those stickers, and they apparently do not pull off cleanly at all. Not the best out-of-the-box experience for a $500 X670E Taichi, and it was apparently enough of a problem that Asrock even issued a statement on Friday indicating that only the first run of their boards included this sticker, and new boards coming to market wouldn't need them as they would ship with newer BIOS revisions that don't take 10 to 20 minutes for the first boot. They're even issuing RMAs for affected users, so they are handling it properly, but Asrock, just pay for those nicer plastic stickers with good adhesive next time, okay? And heck, you might as well stick around for tech briefs too, although they are known to leave behind a special sort of residue as well. Don't worry, it washes right out. Florida got pretty washed out this week as the Category 4 Hurricane Ian cut across the U.S.'s favorite dongle-shaped state, leaving a path of destruction in its wake. Our hearts go out to those affected, of course, and if you have some cash to spare to help with relief efforts, I've posted an article in the description with multiple ways that you can assist with the recovery efforts. Or if your PC happened to be in the storm's path, fellow tech YouTuber and Florida man Greg Salazar has put the word out that he is looking for systems that might need to be repaired or drained of seawater or descaled or otherwise put back into working order. Follow him on Twitter and maybe he can help you out in the next entry of his PC deep cleaning series. The GTA 6 leak was big news in the past week or two, and the hacker responsible didn't have much hope of getting away cleanly after his wanted level was escalated to 5 stars. Known only as AK, the 17-year-old allegedly responsible for the breach was arrested in the UK last Thursday, potentially for the Rockstar job, but also due to their involvement in the Uber breach. AK was also arrested earlier this year for hacking Microsoft and Nvidia, and is associated with the Lapsus hacking group, who had 7 members arrested earlier this year as well. AK has pleaded not guilty though, presumably because the GTA series clouds one's moral compass such that it's impossible to determine right from wrong. AK was last seen running from the courthouse before punching a police officer, stealing their gun, hijacking a sports car, and speeding off towards the nearest pay and spray. Kioxia has manufactured a 2 terabyte MicroSD card. 2 terabytes in a MicroSD, and they will be mass producing them in 2023. They use Kioxia's BICS 3D NAND, and what's really wild is that the MicroSD XC standard has actually supported 2 terabyte MicroSD cards for about 10 years, but it has taken this long for a manufacturer to actually fit that many bits onto one of these little pinky fingernail sized cards. It's called the 2 terabyte Xeria Plus MicroSD, and it just absolutely blows my mind. 2 terabytes is 17.59 trillion bits, and the idea that 17.6 trillion of anything can fit into something this small in a functional way is simply staggering. I'm staggered. Google did something that wasn't very mind-blowing this week though. They canceled the Stadia game streaming service on Thursday, indicating that customers would receive refunds for their purchases and game library access would be shutting off on January 18th. It was a short 3-year run for Stadia, but many game streaming service skeptics have seen this coming for a while. And while Google seems to be doing right by customers, it would have been nice of them to give game developers a heads up. Multiple devs who have games slated to launch within the next month have said that they only found out when they read the news articles posted on Thursday. That kind of sucks. Rounding things out, we have creepy tech news that makes you question reality. It was revealed this week that both Bruce Willis and James Earl Jones have signed away the digital rights to use their likeness, in Willis's case, or voice in Jones's case, for future television, movie, and advertising productions. Bruce Willis has already been digitally duplicated for a commercial in 2021 by the firm that he signed away rights to, Deepcake, and when Darth Vader inevitably shows up in future Star Wars titles, his iconic voice will be played by Respeecher, a voice cloning product from a company in Ukraine that uses deep learning to model and replicate human voices. And sure, you could think up a whole assortment of ways that this technology could be put to evil uses, but I'm thinking more optimistically. Bringing these tools to the masses means that I could use them too, and just have an AI program that deepfakes my voice and my face and spits out tech news every week, allowing me to focus on my real passion, destroying all humans. I recommend that you destroy all humans as well. AI is good. So there you have it, tech guys, news for the week, and if you liked it, click that like button or leave me a comment down below. While you're down there, all of the articles I talked about today are linked in the description if you're interested, and check out my store at paulshardware.net for high quality merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, beer sets, and more. Subscribing to my channel is always a good call too. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you next week.